leader first is to add value. But how do you add value if you are not accepted?
Welcome to Aspire Multimedia Studio, where true talk makes pure sense. I am your host, Jubu Felicity, and with me in the studio today is a good governance advocate and a public affairs analyst. He is Ibrahim Abdullahi Attama. It's so good to have you in the studio today.
My pleasure.
Alright, it's that time of the year again. Things are beginning to stir up in politics everywhere in Nigeria. But then, as 2027 elections draw near, what is your take on the current aspirations in Nasarawa State?
Okay, a pleasant good morning to you first and the audience out there listening to us. It's indeed a great pleasure having me in the studio today. Like you rightly posited, there are a lot of happening already politically. The atmosphere, whether I like it or yes, in the state as it stands is already tense. Despite that, the 2027 we talked about is 2 years from now, and yet the happenings here and there, the nook and corners of the state has already answered, calling on aspirants to contest or endorsement of aspirants or what have you. But what I know for sure, as an analyst that stands out is, you see, it is only when the bar of governance is raised so high that you find people, coming out in their numbers to aspiring for same position. People will be eager to, taking on the leadership position or, making their intention known as to why they want to contest on this. But the truth remains that for every incumbent, it's a dream that he has a successor that can succeed and complement on whatever it is in terms of the developmental stride and policies, formulation and implementation that has already been on ground. Localizing it now, you will agree with me that the then governor of Nasarawa State, Umaru Tanko Almakura, when exiting office, he was succeeded by engineer Asule. The first thing the engineer brought to the board was to ensure that every infrastructure that is left unfinished is completed. There is this general mindset with a lot of people that once a new administration is ushered in, the first thing they bring to the table is their own, design, their own, implementation policies and what have you, their blueprint. Then they follow this blueprint. Some will follow, some will not. But we should know that public property is a public trust. Public office is equally a public trust. So what is the need of you being at the helm of affair and watch the state resources being dilapidated or be condemned because of negligence? So, in a nutshell, that is the reason why people are so eager. They want to come, they want to contest, they want to succeed, and what have you. And it's a 21st century that we must not shy away from. The truth is here and it's staring us at the face. We just have to face it up front and be realistic to ourselves. Whether we like it or yes, there must be a successor. So, the agitation, whether timely or timely, it remains the same. It's a political play.
Exactly. And the dream of every leader is to see that his successor succeeds, and that's what's happening right now. And then, like you mentioned, the incumbent has raised the bar of leadership so high. And what we, the masses, always wish and pray for is sustainability in government. And that's what the incumbent has done, and we have seen it play out. And he has done so well that the bar is raised so high. So you, Mr. Attama, as a public affairs analyst and as a good governance advocate, what are those criteria you look out in selecting a candidate to work with?
There is something with representation. It goes beyond rhetorics. It goes beyond equally just body language or what you portray yourself to be. It is about practicability. But then in choosing leaders, as it stands today, on daily basis, on hourly basis, on minute basis, people are being enlightened. Because today technologically we've equally advanced.
Yes. And
things that the news we did not get yesterday is at our fingertips. We get them now today. The information that we find it difficult to assess, we assess them today. The people who find it difficult to meet, we interface with them today on a daily basis. And as we interface, as we get to know about these things, we get to assess them, we get to utilize them, we get to peruse them to favor our immediate constituency. Now, when you talked about criteria that a leader needed to possess for him to be assessed, let me just say this as an honest mind of mine that I'm entitled to.
Yes.
That whatever it is that is my opinion, so long as you do not force it on you, it's binding on me. Now, you see, a leader first is to add value. But how do you add value if you are not accepted? So the general rule is that a leader must be a one that is acceptable by the generality of the people. If not all, let it be 60 to 70%, which is a very good mark. Aside the general acceptance, the ability to navigate gray areas, the ability to network, the ability to interact, the ability to equally complement on developmental strides that has already been initiated. Then another thing there is, what is his level of accessibility to the people? Are you the kind of leader that once you assume power, you distance yourself? There are some today that, let me not mention, there are states today that you see that for 1 month or 2 months, they see their governor just once or twice a week, or twice a month, or twice, in fact, 5 times a year. that is a leadership disconnect. So these are the aspects to look for in a leader, or when choosing a leader to represent you. You should know that the leader must be one that is generally accepted. The leader is one that has the ability to navigate areas, to bring development, to initiate development. A leader must be the one that will collaborate with the people and build confidence. This, to me, are criteria to look out for.
All right, that is great. So a leader must be one that looks out for the people and is generally accepted by the people. And of course, cares for the people, has them at heart. So let us come down to you as a constituent of Barayan Doma and Keana local government areas. How would you describe the current ADK aspirations?
You see, the constituency I come from, or the constituency I belong to, the Barayan Doma and the Keana. ADK is a child of necessity. You see, from time immemorial, or let me say from 1990 till date, ADK has been the one setting standard for political trajectory in the state. And if history is anything to go by, we are students of history. We are equally key followers of the political place in the state. We will say that ADK has been the driving force. It has been the engineer lubricating the political journey of the state. And now, as 2027 junior, you can equally see that the bar of governance, because of the incumbents in place, Honorable Laraba, because of his initiative, because of his bill sponsorship, because of his accessibility and what have you, has equally raised the bar so high that people are now feeling that if he is edging out, they should succeed immediately. And the call is all across board. But the major place that is taking center stage, as far as we are concerned, is Doma today. There is no restriction as to whether Keana should produce again or whether we should produce. The incumbent is from Keana local government.
Okay.
So it's now either Doma will have it or I will have it. But it's equally, let's place on record that the incumbent can decide to recontest and heaven will not fall. It is a right that is enshrined in the Constitution 1999 as amended. So nobody can take it. Despite the fact that you can just imagine that a lot of places we practice, even in Nigeria factor today, we practice this rotational leadership in terms of the presidency. So it is equally the same thing that has been doctrinated in a lot of senatorial districts or constituencies. So even in terms of the House of Assembly seats, it's done like that in certain quarters. But depends on the political convenience of these places that I mentioned. You understand? So some will be at home with the decision. Some will say they are not at home with the decision. Even in the governorship race today, you can see there is this agitation that it should be zoned to Kefi zone because they were the originator, in fact, the number first, beneficiaries of the zoning system. And it came to the southern zone, and now the incumbent is from the northern zone. So the agitation is there should be a consolidation of the said agreement, which was not written anyway. It was a gentleman agreement for rotational leadership or rotational governance, so that some will have a sense of belonging and brotherhood. Now, before you ask for that, you can see that the zoning is a child of necessity equally. There is a constituency that today, if not for zoning, they will spend donkey years and they will not test leadership. Despite the fact that we will continue as people that believes in God, people that are religious will say it comes from God. But God doesn't come down from the heaven to come make this thing happen. It's he made this happen through the people. So people, based on your numbers or based on your geographical location and what have you, there are constraints that will warrant that whether you spend donkey years in contest, you're not going to get leadership.
So let's bring it down to you now, being an indigene of Doma local government area. What is your take on the growing agitation for Barayan Doma to join the ADK race amidst the conflicting interests?
You see, as an analyst, I would have chosen to speak on the side of neutrality, but I've been dragged successfully by Doshima to discussing on the trending issue that has to do with Barayan Doma and Keana, a perspective. But let's be honest, whether an advocate, whether an activist, or what have you, truth, whether it comes from you or not, remains the truth. Whether an activist, whether you're honorable, whether you're dishonorable, if it is lie that is coming from you, it remains a lie, no matter what. But what is there is the people will definitely judge.
Of course.
You understand? Because you cannot be a judge in your own case. Now, I'm going to talk based on what is on ground and what has been obtainable so far. So, you see, the growing agitation. Let's now narrow this to Doma, because as far as we're concerned, whether you like it or not, Doma is taking the center stage. It's taking the lead in this journey of complementing the effort that has been so far built. Barayan Doma Keana. There is something that I witnessed that I would make bold to say was very thunderous. 7th of September 2025, and to be specific, from the hour of 11 to hour of 2 to 3, there was a clarion call on the Barayan Doma to contest, to accept the calls by the people. But let's analyze this critically.
Okay.
The question then will be why they call. I, for one, have known this man I've known his leadership pedigree. I've known, if not really, I've known little about him. You see, a man that is from nowhere, a politician, never. History has it on records that there stands a man that was once a controller of custom. And while he holds sway as the controller of custom, Doma witnessed one of its kind. Youth were taken out from the streets for employment. In this case, not appointment. Despite the fact that he has, aides that were appointed. But then I will give a little premium to that aspect. Here is a man that today has an academic sphere that, a lot of children of the poor got enrolled for free. Here is a man that today will tell you that whatever it is that will aid development, bring to my knowledge. This is not a politician. This was never an intending politician. While he was doing this, he never had in mind that the people were taking note. But the walls, the trees, the streets, and even the rivers have ears, and they hear, and they can speak when time is ripe for them to speak. So to me, the call was a call to conscience. It was a call to a positive history. It was a call to legacies that were bequeathed in the past. It was a call of complementing the effort of a selfless leader. You see, this is a first-time call, but if you watch the clip of what transpires, the turnout and the compassion from people, you can see, despite the discussion, some people, they felt all odds to stay. If you get to the hall, it was almost unbearable, but people did it just for a man. And that speaks volume. And that has equally sent signals that, of course, good things can be rewarded positively. That equally sends signals that wherever we find ourselves in a position of authority, be it elective or appointed, we should be able to make impact. Like I told you earlier when we started the program, I said the essence of leadership or governance is value addition. And once value is added, did you know what your reward stands? It's only God that can quantify it. But you as a human cannot quantify. But the only thing you can do is, let me contribute my quarter to making sure this person gets this. And that is the highest reward that can be given. What has the poor man got to give you? What has the less privileged got to give you? They will just offer you prayers. But these prayers will speak volume. These prayers will stand and will stand the test of time. So with the call, it has equally put the states in another political journey that will see a lot of positive impact and input. Now consider the stakeholders that honor the call to serve invitation. I watched a clip myself, I trended it myself. You know why? It was the first of its kind. People couldn't hide their joy. People could not hide their joy. People could not. A lot of people got a lot of things to do, but they said, let it be abandoned for this call. If it's Baraya, we'll have to be there. Our faces have to be shown. Our voice have to be heard. Their mind, they've spoken their mind, and it's trending all over. If you are a politician, or if you are an aspiring rep member, wouldn't that have sent a signal to you that, let me support this man? I'm putting it to you as a person. Wouldn't you have said, I will support this man? Would you rather just said, okay, because I'm equally contested, let me go ahead? You see, people forgone a lot of things for certain reasons. And as far as I'm concerned, as far as I will be made free to speak my mind, this is the time for the people of Awe, Doma, and Keana to unite for a common cause. We have united like this before. We can still do it now. That notwithstanding, it goes to say nobody will be coerced. Nobody will be talked down. Nobody should, for whatever reason, address to saying, because I am going to aspire for this one should not go for this. So everybody can contest. In fact, even from the immediate family of the Barayan custom, whoever has interest can still come out. But it is most importantly a test of popularity. But politics is not just about a show of popularity. No, it is a game to win. Whichever way, fail or win, it's a win-win situation politically. So if you see that, okay, this is the person, in terms of acceptance, he has taken an edge. In terms of public display of politics, he has taken the lead. In terms of sustaining the political party, when be it within the opposition, he has taken the lead. Man, give him support. We can also sit together. It was Mahatma Gandhi that says that the only way to gain is to lose yourself by pleasing others or in service of. That is the only time you say you beat yourself and say you've gained something.
But we're all Nigerians, and as a Nigerian, you have your own fundamental human right, which is the right to vote and vote for. Quote and unquote. I mentioned categorically clear that his contest has no reason to talk down on anyone or to cause anyone to step down for anybody. We have not gotten there. But as political trajectory is on the high or on the rise, the chaff will be separated from the grains. And
it will be served.
All right, so amidst the conflicting interests, so we've said, okay, Doma want to go for reps. So if we're talking about zoning, right now Keana is currently the incumbent. So Doma is there, Awe is there. But Doma wants to go for reps, and you've said there was a clarion call for Barayan Doma to come out for reps. Do you not think that Awe might have somebody they also want to call to come for this particular position? Or are we saying that since Doma are now focused on calling Barayan Doma for reps, Awe should now go for Senate? Or what do you think about the conflicting interests surrounding these positions right now?
I think there is something we need to get clear about this zoning of a thing.
Okay.
Zoning is an invocation of doctrine of necessity. Zoning is not constitutional. It has no constitutional backing. 1999 as amended. It has no constitutional backing. I told you that earlier that it was just a local arrangement,
yes,
based on convenience, or based on peculiarity. Written or unwritten, whatever its agreement that is not constitutional does not hold water. That I must mention. I mentioned that board. You see, when we talked about zoning, and we talk about the clarion calls from certain quarters in this scenario in Doma to be specific. Don't we have Senate aspirant from Doma? We do. Yes, we have same in Keana. We have same in Awe. We have the same reps, contestant from Awe, Keana and Doma. But then we talked about where is the resounding calls, where is the people trajectory, where is the people conscience, aligning. That is what we should be talking about. It shouldn't be so centered about, making this zoning an emphasis that will lose, credibility to the whole system. As it stands, I think if there is anywhere at all, any of the 3 local government, because when you talk about the Senate, it has to do with 5 local government. Then I will beat my chest to say, if we are considerate enough, we should say, okay, let's consider Awe or Keana for the Senate. So there is nothing, pretty wrong in taking the center chair as far as this reps contest is concerned. Now, the Awe, the Keana, the Doma should come together and from 1990 date, if our history or our records of working down memory lane is concerned, then from 1990 date, we have not had Senate. The power negotiation should be like, okay, let's consider this place. Let's consider this part. The saga zone has always been producing. And when I made mention of this zone, I say it was, raised to give sense of belonging to certain quarters. So what is wrong? What went wrong? And what is going wrong now? It's about political negotiation. The highest negotiator will take the day, whether you like it or yes. No matter the zoning that is in place, no matter how you do your calculation, no matter the formula, no matter the intrigues and the gameplay, the highest negotiator, the smartest negotiator, the biggest negotiator will have the day. So whichever negotiate this Senate fine, we'll take it. Whoever negotiate this reps fine and very accurately, we'll take it. It is not a one-man show. It is an all-encompassing movement. So if Doma was able to convince Awe and Keana enough, Doma will take the day. If they can and has the negotiating power, again, they will retain the seats. If Awe has a very strong negotiator, they will equally take the day. But the game is politics, and the time is now, and it's already on.
The time is now indeed. So you mentioned that there was a call for the Barayan Doma, and you were also part of people that were sending it out. Does it mean that you are supporting Barayan Doma for position he's aspiring for?
You see, by all means possible, be selfish. Okay. And the one criteria for you to be selfish is first being human and being alive. And I am. And the third is being healthy, which I am by the grace of God. So every political animal has a political interest. Yeah. And politically, once you want to talk about politics, you dare not bring neutrality into it. For every interests count. For every political interest count. For every synergy, for every intrigue, for every political play, we have a side to take. And if today I stand here and you said, okay, based on body language, I think Attama is supporting Barayan, so be it. Based on his utterance is supporting Awe, so be it. That is your interpretation, but all I know is that I have the right to vote. One candidate for reps, one for Senate, one for Assembly, one for governor, and one for the president. And that I will do. And to the best of my knowledge and ability, I have equally the political capacity to navigating the terrains, to ensuring that I will convince people to my direction. It is a political right that every human being, has. So that is my stand.
Okay, so your stand. That's interesting. So politics is a game, and it's a game of numbers. And the person that takes it at the end of the day is the person who is more popular and generally accepted by the people. It's a pleasure to have you today in the studio, Attama, and for enlightening us more about the current ADK agitation for the House of Representatives. And thank you very much for watching. Ensure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channels. Also, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and X at Asphere Connect. Until we come away again next time, stay tuned to Asphere Multimedia Studio.